in 1904, and then again there had a big renovation in 1926. It was built to be the grand space that it is today. It was in the 60s when National Amusements bought it and chopped it up into smaller spaces to be cinemas, to be movie theaters. You know, they put a big wall down the middle, they walled off the balcony and put another theater in the lobby, and really destroyed a lot of the historic detail that was here. So in that building closed in the 90s when Showcase North opened here in Worcester. Sat boarded up for more than 10 years, and then the restoration was $31 million restoration, opened in 2008, and the intent was to bring it back to the grandeur that it was when it had first been built in 1904. So it is as close as we can get to that. There's some things like they don't have the actual paint colors, so they use their best educated guesses from the black and white photos from that era to try to recreate as much as we can exactly what was here. Well, when I first started here, I worked as a consultant to the architect to help the architect know some things about theaters that an architect doesn't necessarily know. You know, how many pounds of force the stage needs to be able to hold, how many, you know, what's necessary backstage in terms of grid and lighting and sound and technical systems. So that's how I got involved in it in the first place. And then as time went by, I fell in love with it, and the board hired me to be its executive director 2 years before the theater opened. And so I hired staff and helped put together a business plan, and the rest is history. I think it's just opportunity to sort of look back and see how much we've changed over 15 years. You know, when I look back now and who we were 15 years ago, we were a tiny, tiny little organization, a startup, and we're much different now, and it's evident in the size of the staff, it's evident in the scale of the shows that we bring in, it's evident in the number of young people we reach through outreach programs. Really in every metric, we've just grown astronomically over the past 15 years. And it's opportunity to look at that and sort of celebrate that a little bit. Here, since we opened the conservatory, we have 500 kids 500 kids a week here, week in, week out over the course of the year, and many more in the summer. And between the kids that are in the conservatory and outreach program, we reach about 18,000 young people a year. So that's a big piece of what we do. I would also say downtown revitalization. We book the theater very heavily, not just because we want to bring as many different kinds of shows as we can. We want to bring as many. It's about the people through the door. You know, if we can break even on a show, not even necessarily make money, but at least get to a break-even point with something on stage, and bring in 2,000 people. Those 2,000 people help revitalize downtown. It makes a big difference. The 200,000 people a year that come through these doors also park across the street. They go to restaurants downtown or elsewhere in Worcester. They really do a lot for the economy, and I think that the theater's done a lot to help spur other development downtown. Carroll Plaza, the construction out there is frustratingly slow, but it is finally getting close to finished. Yeah, that's going to be an outdoor pedestrian plaza with a 18-foot round performance stage out there called Bank of America Stage, and we're going to program that pretty heavily once it's completed, with things like acoustic musicians at lunch hours, for food truck events, for wine and Wi-Fi events, a beer garden, block party kinds of things. I think there is more that we will create ourselves. We have the Hanover Theater Repertory is a new initiative that we just started last year, and it is about creating classic or new classics here in Worcester. So that's one big piece of it, I think, is the producing work. And then I think we will continue to grow the conservatory and the education programs. There's sort of the sky's the limit there. There's clearly demand out there, and there's nothing. There are music schools, there are dance schools, but there's no theater school here. It's all about people, right? Like any business, I think it's about the people that work here who make the things happen. So it's really just helping support the staff that we have. It's more than anything else. I think it's probably like running any other business. This one's a lot of fun because every day is different, and we get to see a lot of people made really happy by what we put on stage. But at the end of the day, it's about supporting the people that work here.